we now have Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, Congress MP, also joining us. Dr. Singhvi, I'm not going to narrow this down to just one individual or the malpractice by one company, because I'm sure, I mean, you also know, and Dr. Roy has written extensively about this, that it's not about one company, one individual, but a systemic rot as far as the rating system in this country is concerned. It has existed, it has been highlighted. So are we looking at just the tip of the iceberg?
Sanket, I'm so happy that you have taken the words out of my mouth. Had you not said so, the first sentence I would have said is this. This is not about Times Now or Arnab or X or Y or Z at all. It is an institutional issue. The issue is much larger. I have written and spoken about this for years. And I remember almost 10 years ago, I said that the people who are able to skew the game, to game the game, so to say, should be given a Nobel Prize for miniaturization. Because really, if you are able to judge the preferences of a 125 crore Republic of India with reference to some 20-30,000 meters, I don't know, the latest figure I'm told is 44,000, then you deserve a Nobel Prize for miniaturization. Point one. Point two, it's a much larger structural issue, because we all talk about it. We all lecture about it. I spoke, in fact, in the Jethmalani Memorial Lecture just a month ago, and I raised this issue. You don't realize the long-term effect of it, because the meter reflects a supposed view. The supposed view reflects what people supposedly want to see. What people supposedly want to see is what you then start producing. And because you want a certain kind of program, it has a direct influence on content, because that's where the money comes from. Now, this is also because we have this huge vacuum, whether because of vested interests, I have no hesitation in saying, and vested interests could be social, political, economic, media, everything, that you don't have an independent regulator for TRP ratings. Can you imagine? I mean, I think the channels in America and UK may be even more aggressive. But we cannot imagine that you will have a doubt on ratings. Then again, apart from the absence of an independent regulator, the technique and the technicality, I'm now coming to a lower level. One is the overall concept that this is most unsatisfactory of having only 30-40,000 meters. Second is, when you go into the nitty-gritty, the devil and the details, you realize that there are so many, caveats and tricks of the trade as to how you actually calculate it, how you increase or decrease, and how you completely confuse people like you and me, individuals or common people watching TV. They're saying this particular time, this particular day, I'm number one, then you are number two in the next slot, and so on and so forth. I don't understand. An independent regulator genuinely should publish these ratings every week. But we don't have it because it doesn't suit anybody. And also, let me tell you that the larger issue, these are all linked. I mean, to see them separately is wrong. The larger issue of reform in the media, we don't have, do you know that the longest languishing bill possibly after the Lokpal, which I had the privilege of chairing the parliamentary committee, and now it is thankfully law, but probably the second or third longest is the broadcasting bill, which deals with Chinese walls, ethical standards, reform of ownership and media conflicts. Now, these are all issues where I think enough time has gone. That bill is, by the way, languishing for 25-30 years. We have to sit down, because this is actually fooling all the people all the time. You've achieved it. And I think it's terrible and tragic, because India is the most vibrant democracy. And if people of 500, 600 million people are watching you on prime time,
you cannot map the public mood of a 137 crore strong nation with 40 odd thousand meters. I think you've spoken, you've hit the nail on the head, and the purpose of this discussion is exactly that. When you will have a malpractice or a faulty practice, it will result in malpractices. So the point is that we need a systemic shift and a systemic fix to be able to look ahead and look forward, and possibly also the beginning of the end for hate for profit media.
Policemen. You need a genuinely independent regulator who simply publishes this. All this first phase or first part of the scam will end. It's not about ABC, it's not about NDTV channel or this channel, that. It's about the capacity to game the system will go. We don't even have that.
Well said. Okay, Dr. Singhvi, thank you so much for joining us, and these are extremely valuable inputs. Let's hope the government, and by the way, only yesterday, and I was quite pleasantly surprised that only yesterday in a lecture, the Information Broadcasting Minister talked about TRP journalism, and he went at length for about 2.5 minutes where he spoke about TRP journalism and how this is now a very bad thing happening, and today you have this. Let's treat
like
today as a day. Yes.
I also like that point. I heard it, I read it, but I remain skeptical because irrespective of political color, we've had statements like this across the board for years and decades. I think that the political consensus and will is needed, and we have to bust the vested interest, whoever they may be, and simply the larger issue of broadcasting will take longer, but at least have an appointment of an independent regulator.
Okay. Absolutely.